right. Welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Hope you're doing well. Hope your weekend is going well. You haven't had to see any mutants, hear, smell, or anything like that. And I want to focus on this story on this live stream, but I'm going to touch on some related stories that are related to this story. And I'm always on the lookout for stories like this because I always criticize dogs in classrooms. And this was a perfect setup. They carefully created a dangerous environment, and they get off scot-free. I don't get it. It's a crime based on the laws that we currently have. It's a crime. It's just not investigated as a crime, which doesn't really involve much investigation. It's obvious who brought the dog into the building. The adults, the teachers, the principals, a lot of people responsible. Okay? So I might refer to this story several times long after this live stream. Yeah, good morning. I see Mr. Cooper, Lisa, Champagne, Mike, Dave, Gene. Good to see everybody. Chris. I didn't think there'd be that many people in here because it's very early where I am right now. 5:45 a.m. my time is when I started this. But let's get into it. This is the article that I found. And I have not found any news broadcasts from any media outlets. Teacher's dog bites student during lesson on pet care. People, do you believe that? Now, I went to their website. I went to their Facebook profile. They deal with kids that are so young, these kids really can barely walk straight. They're so small. Yeah, they are as small as you can imagine. Okay, these are toddlers. Why would you give a lesson on pet care to a flipping toddler? I'm telling you, these kids, they're like, if this took place at the Trinity Learning Center in South Carolina. Trinity Learning Center in South Carolina. Now, if you do a search, you'll be able to see how young these students were who make up the student body. Now, I know it's a Christian school, but it's a school. It's where they come to learn. Okay, it's a learning center. So that means you're supposed to teach them things that will help them in life, not harm them. The whole purpose of school is to teach people how to navigate away from harm and negative experiences. Wow. We have to go back over the purpose of school. This is sad. But they claim that they were conducting a lesson on pet care, which I don't believe. And if that is a lie, that is a very shameful lie, because look at it. Look at a learning center. It's a church. This is horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Columbia, South Carolina. School administrators say a pre-kindergarten student was bit, look at what it says, by a teacher's pet dog. Stop right there. Let's stop right there, buddy. Why on earth did a teacher have his or her dog in the school? Why? So that you could give the kids a lesson on pet care? Why would you even assume that kids this young have pets, have dogs? Why would you assume that? And if you are going to assume that, what makes you think it's your job to teach them how to care for it? That's their parents' job. Am I missing something here? Is that something that they teach in school now? Nowadays, they teach you how to take care of your pet? No, this sounds like a therapy dog. Not saying it was certified, nothing like that. I'm saying that the adults, the teacher, principals, they were treating this dog like a therapy dog. Come pet the dog. Now, the child was attacked as the child was petting on the dog. But this is the actual statement that they put out, that the Learning Center put out. On March 9th, 2023, at the Trinity Learning Center, held a lesson on pet care. Really? Really? Okay. This has been a long-standing unit in our curriculum, and we've had no previous issues. However, during this year's lesson, a student was bitten once as he was petting a dog. Now, if you're conducting a class on pet care, what's the purpose of having these students pat the dog? What's the purpose? You should just get in front of the class with the dog while the students are in their seats at their desk. Do students still have desks? They had desks when I was coming up. You stay at your desk and you stand at the front of the classroom and you demonstrate how to wash a mutt. If this is what you're doing, it makes no sense what you're saying here. Why was the child petting the dog? And a child this small, it's guaranteed the child was operating on instructions. No. So what am I supposed to believe? Are we supposed to believe child decided to start petting the dog without parents' permission, without the adults' permission? This is sounding bad. The dog, look at what it says. The dog is the pet of a classroom teacher. Okay, so who's at fault? Is the teacher not at fault? She brought it into the school. A whole bunch of people at fault. The dog is the pet of a classroom teacher, and neither the teacher nor the school administration nor the leadership are aware of any aggression, any abuse, or any neglect with the dog. People, why are they telling us this? Why are you trying to reassure us that the dog has never been? See, immediately, they try to take blame off the dog. They try to reduce any anger you may have towards the dog. They try to eliminate it. Okay. Well, it didn't have a history. See, this clears them of a lawsuit. Because if the dog had a history of aggression or abuse or neglect, they would get sued. Okay? But the truth is, we don't know what that dog's history is. School administrators followed the procedures when the student is injured. They immediately tended to the student, contacted the parent, and notified the social services. After investigating, look at this, social services did not find any evidence of abuse or neglect by school staff. Really? You don't see any case of neglect, of endangerment in this scenario? Really? Okay. School administrators also followed up with the student's parent to ensure he received a medical evaluation. The health, safety, and well-being of our students is the highest priority for the Trinity Learning Center. Really? The health and safety and well-being of your students is the highest priority? So you treat the safety of your students with so much seriousness that you bring predators inside the school, inside the classroom. You bring creatures that can kill, do kill, do mutilate. Every day. Since this is a school, did you bother to inform the students that over 2,000 people are in the emergency room every day? Did you bother to fill them in on the fact that over 1,000 children in the United States take a trip to the ER after being attacked by one of these things? Don't you think this is the place they need to learn that at a school? So these kids got a lesson of what not to do. They just got a good lesson on why you should stay away from dogs. But they were not taught that verbally. They saw a perfect example with their two eyes. And the teachers failed them. Failed to properly educate them. This is the epitome of miseducation. And you got an example. It was proven to be miseducation. What's the miseducation? That dogs are harmless. If you're bringing dogs into a classroom full of kids, that is your way of trying to teach those kids that the dogs are harmless. And when you see one, try to touch it, rub it, go up to it. Don't fear it. That's what you're teaching them. And that will get them hurt. And it actually did get this child hurt. As such, it says, we are reevaluating this lesson and taking additional steps to prevent this from happening again. Oh, now you want to look critically at bringing a dog into a school. Now I assume you want to pretend like you are not aware of the danger, right? That's what they're about to do now. Oh, it's time to reevaluate this lesson because a child was bitten and we had no idea this could happen. Oh, I didn't know this was possible. Really? How do you prevent this from happening again? There's only one way, and that is to not bring dogs into the school. The student was pulled from the school by their parent, while the teacher is still employed according to the Learning Center. Now, the teacher owns the dog. The teacher brought a deadly creature into the school, and she knew it was deadly. She knew what it was capable of. And it actually did hurt a student. And she gets off scot-free. There's no lawsuit against the school. Nobody sued for negligence, for reckless endangerment, really. So what good is our laws? This took place in South Carolina. This is right here in the United States. What good is our laws if they don't apply to scenarios that explicitly breaks them? I mean, this is a perfect violation of endangerment laws. So I'm supposed to believe this was nobody's fault, that this was a random accident. Nobody could have foreseen this. Please refer to the actual endangerment laws. And look at the part where they say that they use a reasonable person's evaluation, where they say that any reasonable person should have known that there was a potential threat or hazard. In other words, don't play stupid. It's basically what that law is about. You're not allowed to play dumb and pretend that something that was dangerous wasn't dangerous, or that you were not aware. And if you try to pull that, we're going to prosecute you, because we know that's a lie. That's the whole point of this law. Should the parent or guardian, should they have been aware of the threat? Now, y'all want to tell us that nobody knew this dog had teeth? Nobody knew that dogs bite? Nobody had access to the information that informs us of how often these things attack? And they get off scot-free. Pretty deep stuff. Pretty deep stuff. Now, this is pretty crazy, because this took place, this story, this story took place very close to Dog Bite Prevention Week, which is next week. Next week is Dog Bite Prevention Week. Crazy how this will still not get the proper attention. Dog bite prevention. So during that week, they're going to lecture kids on why they get attacked. They're going to tell them that they get attacked because of what they're doing to the dog. That the dog is minding its business, and that every time they're attacked, it's because of something that they're doing. And that's right off the heels of a story like this, where you had a whole bunch of witnesses, a classroom full of witnesses who can testify whether or not this was provoked. You know it wasn't provoked. But there won't be any explanation for attacks like this. Now, if it didn't have a history of aggression or abuse or neglect, why did it attack? They tell us that these types of dogs don't attack. They tell us that the only dogs that attack are the dogs that have been abused. Right? Why do you make that assumption when you always say that the dogs have no history of aggression, abuse, or neglect? They always reassure us of this. And if the dog is inside of classroom, we all know that that's what you're saying. Oh, it's safe. Okay, so this was supposed to be one of the safe dogs. What happened? How come y'all did not know the dog's brain, its thought process? You always try to pretend like you got so much control over a dog's mind. But you keep getting these stories that pop up that prove that you don't. They should not be allowed to call this an accident. That's the true crime. That's the true crime. They're going to sit up and say this was a big old accident. Here it is. They could have got that child killed. All it takes is for the dog to puncture one artery. That child could have been infected by capnocytophaga and needed his limb amputated. Right? This is what businesses call a near miss. It wasn't a near miss. It was a real injury. This story alone should be enough to put an end to all therapy dogs, to all dogs, period, that are being brought into schools, libraries, hospitals, and anywhere else. But the crazy part is we have more than just this story. This is not the first time a so-called therapy mutt or a dog that is said to not have a history of aggression, abuse, or neglect. It's not the first time that this happens all the time. This is just one of those rare stories where it involved a therapy dog that they brought in for kids to pet. That's what they brought it in there for. Let's stop lying. You brought that dog into that school, teaching those kids to pet on it. So the question is, why did you put them in harm's way? Your intent was not pet care. Cut that out. Stop that. Your goal was to try to brainwash them. You were trying to desensitize them. You were trying to remove their natural fear of dogs. Now, they have they actually have a Facebook profile. They have a Facebook profile. And I found some stuff on that profile that I'm going to share with you. Which tells me, at least it tells me, that for sure They were aware. They were aware of the danger. And not only that, they have a long history of endangering the students at the school, believe it or not. Every chance they get at this learning center, they try to desensitize the students. Oh, yes. Where did I? Okay, of course, now I can't find this thing. But I'm going to find it. I just saw it. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. At least I think this is it. So I went on their Facebook, and hopefully I can find these photos. I went on their Facebook. They have several Facebook profiles. Like the ones in different areas, they'll have their own profiles. And they have a photo gallery. You know, on the profile, they have this photo gallery where this guy came into the classroom, and there was a classroom full of kids now, with an alligator. Yeah. Came up in there with an alligator. He had all kinds of animals. And oh man, this is horrible. This is horrible. This took place at a Christian school, okay? Oh man, this is so bad. People, oh my goodness. Okay, let me share this with y'all. Let me share this with y'all. Okay, wait a minute. What are we doing here? Get my stuff together. Okay, there we go. Training Wednesday. Okay, South Carolina. Look at this. Oh boy, this is horrible, people. This is horrible. Now, with this story in mind, don't you think they should reevaluate what they're doing here? This is Trinity Lutheran Church. And there are a lot of churches that do the same thing that this church was doing. They're saying that the dog was there to show a lesson on pet care. Oh, really? And all the other Christian churches just happen to bring dogs into their facility as comfort dogs. Look at this, is a good boy, comfort dog, up in a church. Huh? Dogs up in church. Oh boy. They're going to try to cover this up. They're going to do their best to try to conceal this. They're going to try to spin it. Right? They're going to do everything in their power to try to bamboozle you. Look at this. Vacation Bible School, Trinity Lutheran Church. Y'all see that, right? Look at the other schools on the exact same path. The exact same path as them. Okay, I don't know where that is. I wanted to get the full photo of this. That's ridiculous. And this is a giant dog, people. You're not teaching them pet care. Get out of here with that. I have never read an article, report. I've never seen it advertised. I've never even heard of a class for pre-kindergartners. A course, a lesson, a class, a nothing, where you teach the kids how to take care of their dog. You know when people lying to you, man. Come on, man. We know when people lying to us. Look at this. Let me show y'all this. Okay, because these people are acting like they're trying to play dumb, and that just don't work. This is that photo. Notice, what are they teaching them? What on earth are they teaching them? Exactly, what are they teaching them? This is a school where they learn. A giant dog right here, off leash. No adult is holding the leash. So they're teaching them that it's perfectly okay to go around giant dogs that are off leash. And then when a child gets attacked, this is a case where a toddler was attacked. You telling me when that happens, nothing happens? Nobody's at fault? No lawsuits? This is not a crime? You couldn't have foreseen this happening? You were oblivious to the threat? That's what we're all supposed to believe. Okay? Oh, this is very bad. This is very bad. Now you go across several of these learning centers. Okay, and they are replete with the staff, the principal, the teachers, bringing dogs. Dogs in there. Look at this. Oh, they got it all mapped out of where they're going. Oh, yeah, we're going to bring comfort dogs all over the country. Huh? Look at how out of control this is. Okay, you're not supposed to be teaching kids to go around dogs, okay? In a normal world, you're supposed to be teaching them to stay away from dogs. And when they see them, find an adult, seek safety, don't go up to them, and definitely don't try to touch them. That's what should be happening. But instead, they're doing this. Shameful stuff. And they target kids. As soon as you scroll down, you see a giant dog with kids. Stop You adult nutters, stop saying that these kids like the dogs. Stop saying that. Stop saying that they want the dogs. Stop it. You're lying. Kids will accept whatever you want them to accept. You bring a rabbit in, say, ooh, look at the cute rabbit. They're going to say, ooh, ah, and try to rub on it. Stop with that nonsense. As if the kids are requesting dogs. You're forcing the dogs onto them. Stop lying. I'm sick of all the lying. Lies, deception, dishonesty. Get out of here. So I'm going to pay close attention to the development of this story. I'm going to keep a close eye on their behavior. As I said, this is the month of Dog Bite Prevention Week, which starts the second week of April every year. Every single year, it's the second week of April. But as you might have guessed, they've already put out some propaganda pieces, even though it's not even here yet. Okay, this is not Dog Bite Prevention Awareness Week yet. But they've gotten a head start. All right, they've gotten a head start. This was uploaded, I think, a day ago. This was published. Dog bites and safety tips. Huh? Look, the second week in April, National Dog Bite Prevention Week. In collaboration with State Farm Insurance, the Humane Association, and the Insurance Information Institute, and Victoria Stilwell Positively, the American Veterinarian Medical Association. Oh my goodness. They founded Dog Bite Prevention. So they have all these big money corporations backing Dog Bite Prevention Week. So you should have the very best propaganda. Right? You should have a doctrine that's extremely persuasive. That's what I expect. But that's not what we get. So they share the dog bite statistics about how often it happens in this paragraph right here. Okay. Remember, this is their first article on Dog Bite Prevention Week. They're dropping this article a week before Dog Bite Prevention Week. So this is the, most recent attempt by the dog lover world. Okay, now they want to start giving advice. They want to educate the public. So what's their first suggestion? Well, check to make sure the dog is sweet before you meet. So they're trying to rhyme. They're trying to rhyme, make it kiddie, appealing to kids. This is kid talk. Notice, dog bites and safety tips. It doesn't say for kids to reduce attacks on kids. But that's the first thing they start out talking about. And really, that's the only thing they're talking about. You notice that? They just flat out started talking about kids. Check that it's sweet before you meet. This is sound advice for either a child or an adult, but you're talking about kids right now. Always ask permission from the dog's guardian before approaching any dog. Young people, no, you don't. Several attacks have happened. This attack in this classroom, that child got permission from the teacher. The teacher brought the dog into the classroom specifically for the students to pet. Okay? So as you hear this propaganda during this Dog Bite Prevention Week, keep in mind the stories that just went down right before Dog Bite Prevention Week. Like this story at the Trinity Learning Center. That child had permission to pet the dog. Did that stop the dog from attacking the child? No. Did that give the teacher some magical powers where she could soar through the air like Superman and have superhuman strength and stop a dog from attacking? What? Now, wait a minute. Didn't she see the signs? She's supposed to be the educated class, right? How can she not be? It's a teacher. And y'all always talking about the signs that a dog shows when it's uncomfortable. Y'all been talking about that for decades. Oh, look for the signs. You can't pretend like this teacher had never heard this before. That dogs show signs of stress before they attack. No attack is unprovoked, and they're always preceded by these signs. Lip licking, a whale eye, so on and so forth. You know, I love this channel. Because I know a lot of behaviorists tune in. And I would love to be a fly on the wall. What's going through your head as you watch the utter dismantling of your profession? This should give you anxiety. And you should be scurrying to get into a different profession. I do take pleasure in doing this. There's no way to avoid this deconstruction of your profession. But it's for the better. It's for the better of the country. Okay, so young people, no you don't ask no permission from no dog owner to rub on their dog. Several stories of kids asking permission and then being attacked as they try to pet that worthless mutt. You know full well, all of it, I don't care how young you are, if you old enough to listen to the internet, to find my channel and to pay attention, to listen, then you know full well, you're smart enough, you know full well that asking permission from the dog's owner is not going to protect you. You know that as soon as you go up to try to pet that dog, it could still attack you. You know that. So why would you touch it? Why would you go near it? Don't. Be smarter than the adult in possession of the dog. You know times are changing when that happens. When small children are listening to advice from adults and knowing that that's flawed advice. When kids know that you're telling them to do something that they shouldn't do, that's dangerous. And rather than rub on your dog, they say, no, dogs are dangerous. Do y'all know how embarrassing that would be for a school or a classroom full of adults? They bring in a therapy dog and they have even just one child who stays off in a corner by themselves. Everybody else touching the dog. Why aren't you touching the dog? No, dogs are dangerous. Dogs are dangerous. No matter what the teachers say, dogs are dangerous. They attack kids. Check Google. Oh, that will send the adult nutters into a panic. Oh my God. Don't say that. Can you imagine the things they'd be saying to the child? If the child said that, dogs are dangerous. They attack kids. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, she's afraid of dogs. Oh, what are we gonna do? Call the doctor. Call the behaviorist. Oh, they would lose their mind. Oh, no. Well, I would love that. I would love that. That's where we're headed. That's where we're headed. So it goes on. The guardian can let you know whether the animal is friendly and enjoys being petted or prefers not to be touched. Young people, again, you know better than that. Because after several kids have been attacked, they were attacked after the owner told them that the dog is friendly. Brooklyn Curry, Jacqueline Duran, they were told the dogs were friendly. Oh man, you can't count the number of times a person was told that a dog was friendly and that same dog end up attacking them. Don't be dumb. When approaching the dog, use caution. Now, listen, if people are telling you to use caution when you approach something, that's telling you right there that whatever you're approaching is dangerous. You don't have to be cautious with something that's harmless. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It goes on. Use caution because you look at this. When approaching the dog, use caution because you never know if that day the dog is not in the mood for a meet and greet. Now, the question is, what if it's not in the mood for a meet and greet? What's the result? What's the risk? That's going to tell us, okay, what type of risk am I taking by approaching it? Well, if it's not in the mood, it can literally rip you to shreds. Force you to get a limb amputated. You could lose your eyesight. You could be killed. Really? That's the risk I'm taking? Okay, now, what's the benefit again that I get out of touching it? Well, that is the benefit. You get to touch it because it's just that important and much of an angel and deity. You should feel privileged to be able to touch it. Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Now, look, here you go. This is the Daily News. They said to understand, they sniff your hand. Again, they're using rhymes, like nursery rhymes, because this whole article is directed to kids. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. This is terrible stuff, man. Dogs truly rule when it comes to their sense of smell, it says. They say a dog's sense of smell is, 1,000 times more sensitive. Look at this. Look at this. When initially meeting a dog, let him sniff the back of your hand. This will keep your fingers out of the way and will not appear threatening to the dog. What? Keep your fingers out of the way of what? Out of the way of deadly, sharp objects that could stab you. Okay. So you're telling me that it's smart to teach kids to put their hand up to something that could chop their hand off. Got it. Got it. And look, if the sight of fingers is threatening to a dog, as they just said it is, or could be, so the appearance, the sight of human fingers, makes the dog feel threatened. Kids, do you think that it's smart to be around, even in the same building as one of these things, if they will attack you just because it saw your finger? They're letting you know that these are extremely unstable, dangerous. This sounds like a creature that's violent by nature. This sounds like it's the creature's instinct that makes them dangerous. And that's exactly the truth. Chin or chest, that's the best, it says. Again, it's using nursery rhymes. Okay, so dog bite prevention, they're exclusively talking about child safety, because they understand that dog culture primarily endangers children. Primarily. Once the guardian, and so people, my point is that this article is like an admission of guilt. An admission. They're letting you know that they know that this is dangerous. They know that kids get attacked more often, that they're the biggest victims of these attacks, that they're more likely to require surgery, they're more likely to be badly mutilated. They know full well that when kids are attacked, they're usually attacked from their neck up. It's common for a dog to latch on to kids' scalps. And when it does that, because you have a skull right there, the tooth quickly gets inserted into the skin of the scalp. So what do you have? You have dog teeth inside of the scalp like a pocket. And anywhere the dog moves its mouth, the child's head follows. So the child is literally, at that point, being dragged around by the dog by the scalp. Using teeth, dragging the child by the scalp. So every time the dog whips the child around side to side, as they do, especially if it's a bully breed, the weight of the child's body helps to rip the scalp off. I'm sure you all understand what I'm saying. That's how they get scalped. Just thought I'd fill y'all in on that. Chin or chest, that's the best. Once the guardian has given permission and the dog seems agreeable to being touched, gently stroke under its chin, on its chest, along its side for a few seconds. Pause and see what occurs. They're telling you to do it like this to reduce the chances of it attacking you, which is crazy in and of itself. But understand, no matter what you do, even if you do all of this stuff, it still could easily attack you. And why do you need to rub it in certain areas? That's their way of telling you that it's safer in these areas. But touching a dog anywhere is dangerous. This is common sense. You don't even have to touch it. If you're simply in the same room, the chance is there for you to get attacked. That is crazy. If the dog moves closer, nudges your hand, or interacts in a social way, he is letting you know that being touched is okay. That is also a lie. Several stories are available where the dogs seem perfectly fine and attacked. Stop with this. I don't know why they make up lies like this. If the dog stiffens, moves away, or doesn't show favorable body language, stop stroking. Dogs, like us, do not like to be patted on the top of the head. Not only is it uncomfortable, but even a small hand approaching from above can feel threatening to a dog. Wow. Really? Right? Thanks for filling us in on that. Thanks for building a case against dogs. Right? They're helping me. Okay, so a sight of a child's hand, dogs take that as a threat, huh? Sound like a dysfunctional creature. Interpreting the sight of a finger as a threat, a child's hand as a threat. Okay. To meet a pup, ask a grown-up. They're still talking in nursery rhymes. And again, this does not keep you safe. Dogs kill grown-ups. Yeah, let's stop this already. They're going on with this adult supervision stuff. I just shared a story, just surfaced. That school was full of adults. None of them stopped the attack, and they couldn't. Ask the guardian before picking up and nuzzling any puppy. Stay away from the dog if it's eating. They said, if a dog has a snack, keep well back. But see, when you have a snack, the dog walks right up to you. Just keep that in mind. Unbelievable. Look at this. Keep your face out of their space. Again, this is Dog Bite Prevention Week. This article clearly focusing on kids, and what it's doing is programming all readers to assume that dog attacks are the result of child misbehavior. That's what they do every single year. And we never see it on film. We never hear it in the reports. Keep your face out of their space. Oh, really? That's why you're always showing kids with their face in the face of a dog. Okay. It is common sense to keep any face away from a dog's mouth. Even if the dog does not want to bite, it could nip accidentally. No nips are accidental. Dogs know exactly what they're doing when they bite. They don't accidentally bite. Why would you believe that anyways? Unbelievable. Look, the way they lie for these things is disgusting, man. If you run and shout, it freaks us out. So if you run and shout and the dog attacks you, it was your fault. It attacks you because I told you to stand next to it. It was because you put your face in the dog's face. Oh, you got too close while it was eating. Oh, you didn't ask permission. Boy, they have more excuses. Oh, you didn't touch it on the chin or the chest. More excuses than a little bit. It's common sense to keep any face away from them, even if it does not get nip back. If you run and shout, it freaks us out. Dogs react to the way we behave. Screaming, shouting, or swinging arms wildly and running around are more likely to cause any dog to chase or attack. But this don't happen. I've been covering dog attacks for almost 7 years now. This does not happen. Kids don't get attacked after they've been screaming or running. They're not doing nothing. And even if they are running or screaming, the whole point in humans having territory and a home is so they can do that. That's the whole point in having offspring for any creature. It's so your young can do whatever it is that they do naturally to learn about the world. We as human beings, we touch things. And as kids are extremely poisoned with all that sugar. And that's the main reason why they get excited like that, if you ask me. Because you really don't see examples of, at least not that I'm aware of kids that don't consume processed sugar. That stuff is very toxic, man. But regardless, even if, I don't care how much they scream or run or how hyper a child is, don't tell me that we deserve to be attacked as kids simply because we were playing. Get out of here. And kids, why would you want something inside of your home that prevents you from playing? Oh, a dog is here. I can't play. I can't run. Sometimes kids need to run. What are you talking about? Physical exercise, physical activity is required for your brain to develop properly. Like, what are you talking about? It's required for you to live. And with a child, they're going through growing spurts. It's mandatory that they touch, feel, move, exercise. Get out of here with this goofy talk. Like kid playing is somehow evil misbehavior. Shut up. And they go deeper. Look, even more affected by rowdy children are shy or nervous dogs. Rowdy children. Unbelievable. I just watched something and I'm about to show y'all right now. It's so unfortunate that we have to be the ones to bring this to the attention of the professionals. The professionals are supposed to be filling us in on everything we're talking about. They're supposed to give us tutorial and lectures. It's not supposed to be the other way around. It is not. Okay, looks okay. I've lost the thing. Okay, that's fine. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, I found this video. I was watching this video earlier that I'm looking for now. Y'all know when you go to the zoo and like they'll have a big giant like water tank. It's more like you're inside of a water, like a pool, and there's sharks all around you, right? You know, you look over one wall, there's water, another wall, there's water, And there are kids in there. You know, people bring their kids in there. And in this video, the kids would stare at the shark as the shark swims by. They'd stare at it. They'd freeze because they're scared. And they look at it. And then eventually they would walk up to it and put their hands on the wall. You know how little toddlers do. They'll just, put their hands up. They don't know what they're doing. It's instinct for us to touch stuff. Ain't that crazy? How even as babies, we touch things and we don't even think about it. We don't consciously intend on touching nothing. We don't know what we're doing when we're babies and toddlers. Kids, baby, you look at them, they touch. Anything they see that's interesting. Touch. That's human instinct. Stop projecting human instinct as misbehavior, as rowdiness. It's very inappropriate. Being calm around dogs can help them feel more secure. No, not being inside of a home with a killer will make your kids feel more secure. Who cares about what a dog thinks? Being calm help the dog feel more secure. But even though you're the only one in danger, you want to make sure the dog feels secure. Get out of here. Look at this. A dog is not a toy. Do not tease and annoy. So y'all see the pattern here. You see the pattern here. They want to project the idea that all dog attacks on children are provoked by the child's behavior. Okay, got it. And that's irrefutable. That's what they're saying here. Talking about don't tease, don't hurt, don't annoy a dog by taking its toys. And you see, don't hit or kick the dog. They're getting this from other nutter websites. That's all they're doing. They're looking at what other nutters wrote and, just reformatting it as a different article. These are not free-minded people who are non-biased, honestly holding something up to scrutiny. That's not what this is. These are a bunch of thoughtless, lazy nutters reading other people's content and just regurgitating it. Oh, okay, it makes sense. Oh, yeah, never tease. Yeah, that makes sense. Don't do that. Oh, that burns me up. And we are the ones doing the real work. And nobody's listening. Not yet, anyways. Hey, kids, don't do this. This never precedes a real dog attack. Okay? That's just a fact. And look how deep they go. In addition, teach children not to yank on dog's tail, pull its fur, poke its eyes, or try to climb on its back and ride it. Dogs cannot say in words that they want you to stop horrid behavior, but they can definitely growl and bite. Isn't that crazy? Horrid behavior. Yo, you're teasing the dog. Don't annoy it. Listen, you, the adult, are not supposed to have it inside the house at all. Okay? So, I don't want to hear anything about the child's behavior or how the child interacts with it. Because if a child sees a dog inside the home, the child automatically assumes it's okay to go up to it, to touch it. Because you're the parent, you're the guardian. You would not bring anything into the home that could hurt me. Kids are not going to assume that you, the adult, would bring a creature into the home that would hurt them. So of course they're going to touch it. What is wrong with you? You leading by example. Duh. You're touching it. You're rubbing it. You're hugging it. You're putting the kids on top of the dogs. You're laying a child on the dog, leaving them alone together to take a stupid picture, record a video. And then when they decide to do it on their own after being thoroughly taught and trained and conditioned by you, idiot, then you want to say that they're misbehaving. Their horrid behavior. A bunch of lunatics. A bunch of lunatics, man. Goofball, airheaded, brain-dead lunatics. Shut up. Quiet and slow is the way to go. So, they're following the traditional path or protocol of dog nutters. And that is to take all blame off the dog and project dogs as victims. To project every dog that attacks a child as a victim of the child's misbehavior. Here, these I said on a recent live stream, I said that these people bring predators into the community, teach kids to rub them, go up to them and not fear them, and then blame the kids when they get attacked by these things. There's no way to make sense out of that. There's no way to make sense out of that. The whole point in bringing something into a home, if you're a parent or guardian, is to teach the young people, teach the kids that this is acceptable, this is safe, this is harmless. It's okay to be around dogs because they won't hurt you. And even if they tried, they couldn't. Everything you do is a moment of teaching. Even if you're not teaching your own kids, you're teaching some other young person somewhere or somebody older than you. People learn from other people. So you always lead by example, always. But if you're in a position of a teacher, you're under more pressure to do what's right, what's smart, what's safe. There ain't nothing smart about being unsafe. But this is criminal. They're basically teaching kids to go up to dogs. The same creatures that send over 1,000 of them to the ER every day, that bites over 7,000 of them every day. They're telling you to go up to it and touch it and rub on it. But if it attacks you, that's your fault. Okay. Is it important that children be taught not to stare when confronted by an aggressive dog? They tell you not to stare at a dog at all, whether it approaches you or not. They tell you not to stare at dogs. So again, why do you even want to be around something that you can't look at, that will attack you if you look at it? Right? Why treat something like that as if it's important? Nothing admirable about that. I look down on that. Something that'll attack you just because you looked at it? Ugh, nothing about dogs. Everything they've gone over here is a negative trait of dogs. There's nothing about this that's attractive. How about that? And look, dogs interpret direct eye contact as aggression. Okay. So a deadly creature interprets direct eye contact as aggression, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Tell the kids to be a tree, it says. Be quiet and be a tree. Keep your head down. Keep your hands low and collapsed in front of you if a dog goes after them. If they're knocked down, teach them to roll over. Cover their head and neck with their arms and curl into a ball. Be like a rock. This is unrealistic advice for a child. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Why would you expect a child to stand perfectly still if they're approached by an aggressive dog? Do you understand it? Not even adults have that much self-discipline and bravery. They're approached, let's say it's a German Shepherd bully breed. Runs up to them, barking, growling, lunging at them. You're telling me it's reasonable to expect a child to be able to stand perfectly still? People, this is too much. This is too much. It's scary how stupid so many people are. How careless, psychotic, suicidal. It's crazy. It's scary to see how low people's value for life is. And this ain't rocket science. Oh man. Teaching children a few simple rules on how to be gentle, how to respect a dog's space, or what to do with an unfamiliar dogs can go a long way in keeping children safer. Okay. So they're summing up the article. In case you still doubted that they were only talking about kids. They started off just talking about dog bites and safety tips in general. But right off the bat, they started talking about kids. This is not National Dog Bite Prevention Week for children. But they only talking about kids. And they only suggest that it's the child's misbehavior that is the cause of the attack, when it's really the dog's natural instinct to attack and use aggression, to be violent, to be killed, or to kill. And you know, it's frustrating how people can be distracted from this simple basic fact. Dogs are killers. They have an instinct to attack, to kill. What makes them so primitive, especially compared to humans, is that the only thing they understand, the only thing they communicate with is aggression, violence. That's why you rub on a dog, you show it affection as we understand it. Dogs don't understand that. Dogs do understand when you're being aggressive, when you're slapping them around. Doesn't take much intelligence to understand aggression. It does take some intelligence to understand affection. And that's what makes dogs so far beneath humans and other animals of the world. They're the most violent, the most aggressive, That's proven by the statistics. They say there are about 400,000 people bitten by cats in the United States every year, compared to 5 million people bitten by dogs. Some 800,000 people need emergency care treatment, and that's twice as many as the total number of people bitten by cats. And cats are the next closest animal group that attack people. And those cat bites, most of them are provoked. I talked about that a lot. Whereas virtually all of the dog attacks are unprovoked. The aggression, the danger, the safety hazard that dogs present to any and every environment that they're in is irrefutable. It's irrefutable, and it's epic. It's at an alarming level. I've never seen any other animal that gets mass-produced baskets to put over their mouth so that they don't attack people, bite people. We don't make muzzles for no other creature. And muzzles are mass-produced. They're such a staple in dog culture, courts will mandate them. And you want to argue at the same time that they're kid-friendly. So this is one of the craziest, most backwards dynamics in the world. This dog culture. It's the most hypocritical, the most inhumane, or one of the most inhumane. There are a lot of, you got to be careful with that. People are crazy. They can be crazy. But make no mistake, this is among the sickest, most immoral. And this is definitely one aspect of our culture that keeps us from evolving, that keeps us primitive. We should never sacrifice our ability to evolve as intelligent beings. We are all spirits, and we've taken control of a body. We're capable of the highest form of intelligence possible in the universe. We should no way, not even a little bit, do anything to thwart or hinder our evolution. Dogs are a direct hindrance. They screw us up in more ways than we realize. They destroy families, relationships, water, air, the wind itself, our ears. They destroy everything. And no matter what, we will be better off without them. Shout out to everybody able to join me for this live stream. Almost an hour and a half. This is crazy. These live streams, they get longer, but they feel shorter. This is crazy. You know what I think it is? When you have more to talk about, it's easier for time to go by fast. Because that's another thing. These live streams where, I'm here for a long time and it feels like I've, been here for about a half hour. With those, there's a lot of content. That's what it is. And with this, I had to slow walk this. Now, many of you already know that this is like all of the articles that they publish. But this is coming from the American Veterinary Medical Association, a big company. So if this rhetoric is going to come from them, rest assured, it's going to come from every other behaviorist, every other publication, every single one. In fact, they're going to look at this as the blueprint. Even though no real research went into the creation of this article or the advice. No real research. It's not based on actual attack cases. That's the crime. And we're the only ones that based advice on actual attack cases. Unbelievable. It's not, and that's just the attack cases. It's not even based on the doctor reports, the doctor testimony, the hospital records. They don't base it on anything that they're supposed to base it on. What do they base it on? Their imagination. That's why this is not a real profession. They base all of this that they put in this article on their flippin' imagination. Can't make this up. Shout out to everybody able to join me this morning. I will no doubt be back a lot sooner than later. And it's always good y'all to join me. I see you, Shar, in here. Esmeralda. Alex, my man Luis in the building. I see you, Tara Mont, Skull Kid. What's going on? It's Sunday already. This weekend's gone by too fast. It's gone by way too fast. Monday, the hardest day for me to go to work. Yeah, well, but once I get going, I'll be all right. Tuesday, but Monday is the roughest. We'll see if I can drag myself out of bed tomorrow morning. And I hope you all will join me on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.